Hey guys, this is Navdeep Singh Jitla. Thank you for clicking this thumbnail. And today we are talking about a very important topic. I've seen so many refusals from Canada. I've seen so many students are getting refusal from Canada with basic two, three reasons. One is visa officers are not satisfied that you will leave Canada after the completion of your studies, number one. Secondly, your language abilities, number two. Number three, it could be either one of them or anything new, whatever. But these two are the main. So we will talk about the first one. We'll talk about why visa officer thinks that you would not leave Canada after the end of your studies. All right, and this has a direct connection to your documentation. So when visa officer raises this objection, it means you have chosen the right program, you have chosen the right college, and everything is good. Your intention is already justified, and the visa officer is convinced with your intention to study genuinely, right? So that is confirmed. But what happens? Why he is still objecting the same? Why he is still objecting that you will not leave Canada? So we have to think about the reasons, because study permit law says you are a temporary resident of Canada, or you will be a temporary resident of Canada as an international student. So even your study permit mentions that you must leave Canada by the expiry date. If you will see, if you are if you're a student, sitting on shore or sitting in Canada looking at this, watching this video. So it is very important to meet the study permit law, to understand the study permit law, and then do the filing accordingly. It doesn't mean that if you're applying through on your own or through any consultant, you can simply submit the application and it is done. It's not like that in Canada. It may be in other countries, like where they do not ask you for the proof of funds or something, but here it's very critical. So you have to prove that you are a genuine student. How would you do that? You have to obviously present your academics and present your IELTS score. That is just to meet the requirements. But again, the SOP is a very critical document in your application. So SOP will explain, would you be a genuine student? Are you a genuine student, or you are just cooking up the story? And visa officers are very expert. They're very intelligent to understand what SOP is saying. I know some of you still might be saying that nobody thinks about, visa officers do not think about that, or blah blah blah. What I'm saying is they follow the study permit law, and as per the law you need to make sure that you are meeting the requirements, right? And the requirements are, you are an intended temporary resident in Canada, you would be coming back. You have to prove that you would be coming back. Now for going, obviously you're writing a good SOP that why you want to study here, why you want to study this course, how would it make sense to your career, these kind of things. So it is okay. Your intention is completely fine, but it's very important that you also convince the visa officer that you will come back. How would you prove that? You have to make sure that you are submitting the documentation for your ties to India, which means whatever the property, whatever the assets your parents have in India, the documentation or the evaluation report is indispensable with your file. You have to get the evaluation done, whatever the assets you have, it may be any. And secondly, the ITRs also for the parents, income proofs. If your parents are government employed, they may be having form 16s, they may be having salary slips, enclose them. If your parents are self-employed, ITRs are a very important document. If your parents are private employed, again they would be having form 16. So it is very, very important to submit these details, because when visa officers look at your application, they see that you have connections in India which are very strong, which means that the people, the relatives or the siblings or whosoever are sitting in India, they are earning good income. You have a good property over there, and you're entering Canada as a temporary student for 1 or 2 years, And if you will prove that you have more assets, more weightage in India, like more stronger ties in India, and that would basically serve as an incentive to motivate back you to India. So that is very important. So you have to prove that you would be going back because you have more stronger ties to India instead of Canada. Because in Canada you don't have any relative. I'm considering only all those cases who are not having relatives over there. Relatives by mean they're not brothers and sisters. So in that case, because in those cases, the documentation may be different, right? But we are just talking about the students who are not having any relatives in Canada. They're having, when I say relatives, it means siblings or cousins, the close relatives. Okay, so you have to prove that you will be coming back, right? So this is basically very important. And yeah, this is it. Basically, this is the only reason when you will not submit the documentation for your parents, income, for your parents' property, for your parents' assets in India, you might be vulnerable to get the rejection due to that particular reason. All right, very important. And the other reason is language abilities. See, it also again boils down to the language scores. For example, if you're having overall 6 not less than 5.5, we understand that earlier I have seen students who come and tell me that there was another guy who scored the same score and he got the visa. What happened in my time? So to all of you, it is very important to score well, okay, with overall 6 not less than 5.5. With rigorous documentation, the chances of getting the visa again raises up to 75, not more than that. It basically is in the hands of visa officer whether or not they will be issuing you the visa, right? So that's all I want to say. Please take care of this. And on the top of that, if your visa is refused, if your visa is recently refused, comment down below. We can definitely help you. Our counselors, our expert team will definitely come back to you to give you more advice.